severe speed disadvantage against Chinese J-11 aircraft, which can fire longer-range missiles at a higher kinematic advantage outside of the range of US AIM-120 missiles. Nor does the F-35C, which suffers from severely reduced acceleration compared to even the less than stellar performance of other JSF variants, help matters. Similarly, the F-35C is optimized as an attack fighter, resulting in a medium-altitude flight profile, and its current ability to only carry 2 AIM-120 missiles internally, until Block 3, limits its capability under complex electromagnetic conditions, the authors wrote. As an interim measure, the Navy and Air Force should significantly accelerate the F-35C's Block 5 upgrade to enable the aircraft to carry 6 AIM-120 missiles internally. The F-35C was never designed to be an air superiority fighter. Indeed, naval planners in the mid-1990s wanted the JSF to be a strike-oriented aircraft with only a 6.5 G airframe load limit with very limited air-to-air capability, according to one retired US Navy official. Indeed, some naval planners at the time had discussed retiring the F-14 in favor of keeping the Grumman A-6 Intruder in service. During this period, many officials believed air combat to be a relic of the past in the post-Cold War era. They anticipated most future conflicts to be air-to-ground oriented in those years immediately following the Soviet collapse. Together with a lack of funding, that's probably why the Navy never proceeded with its Naval Advanced Tactical Fighter or AFX follow-on program. The Navy's F-20 program could be used to fill the service's air superiority gap, which has essentially been left open since the F-14's retirement and the demise of the NATF and AFX programs. But the problem is that the Navy is pursuing the F-20 as a multi-role Super Hornet replacement rather than an air superiority-oriented machine. The danger in its development is that it suboptimizes the fighter role in the quest for a hybrid fighter attack jet, the Hudson Institute report notes. This would leave the joint force without a carrier-based 6th-generation air superiority fighter. As the Navy's current Director of Air Warfare, Rear Admiral Mike Manitsia, has stated in the past, the authors also note that such an aircraft could feature large passive and active sensor arrays, relatively high cruising speed, albeit not necessarily acceleration, could hold a large internal weapons bay capable of launching numerous missiles, and could have space to adopt future technologies, such as HPM, high-powered microwaves, and lasers. This air superiority asset would contribute to outer air battle integrated air and missile defense requirements and would be capable of countering enemy weapons, aircraft, and sensor and targeting nodes at a distance. Outer air battle, of course, refers to a Navy concept from the 1980s to fend off a concerted attack by hordes of Soviet Tupolev wars. The technologies in the F-22 and the F-35 provide situational awareness of a conflict that is unparalleled in modern war, and lethal tools that enable both aircraft to perform at a higher level. Fifth-generation assets employed by joint forces give the U.S. the asymmetric advantage we need to win our nation's wars. The JSF has already demonstrated that it has the potential to totally change the balance of air power vis-à-vis potential U.S. adversaries. Although there is a misperception that the JSF is primarily intended for air-to-ground missions, its air-to-air capabilities are superb. In last year's Red Flag combat exercises, the F-35 scored a stunning 20-to-1 kill ration. According to one experienced Air Force pilot, the F-35 totally dominates fourth-generation aircraft. The airplane has unbelievable maneuvering characteristics that make it completely undefeatable in an air-to-air environment. So if it's a long-range contact, you'll never see me and you'll die. And if it's within visual range contact, you'll see me and you're gonna die, and you're gonna die very quickly. As exercises and war games have demonstrated, an F-35 force can defeat several times its numbers of fourth-generation aircraft, including our own. In its role as a sensor and electronic warfare platform, the JSF can enhance the effectiveness of those same fourth-generation aircraft. A Norwegian Air Force pilot with much experience in the F-16 flew the F-35 and declared in a report to his government that this is an airplane that allows me to be more forward and aggressive than I could ever be in an F-16. The JSF is much more than just a fighter.
The sensors, avionics and other electronic systems on the relatively few F-35s in operation are already radically altering the way militaries around the world, including our own, think about air operations. Simply put, the F-35 makes everything a military does in the air better. The role of the F-35 as an information node, collecting and communicating data from multiple systems offers the potential for an entirely new level of near real-time intelligence sharing. Part of the remarkable effectiveness of the F-35 is due to its ability to exploit computerized information on threat systems. These mission data files allow for extremely rapid identification and response to a wide variety of hostile sensors, weapons and platforms. In the hands of a dozen or more countries around the world, the F-35 holds forth the prospect for radically changing intelligence sharing by enabling massive collection and dissemination of threat information to U.S. forces and those of friends and allies. According to NATO's Joint Air Power Competence Center, the F-35 will be the backbone for next-generation NATO operations. The JSF will allow the alliance to go deep into a double-digit air defense environment to destroy moving and mobile targets while outnumbered by sophisticated fighters equipped with advanced air-to-air weapons. In addition, with its impressive sensor suite, net-centric design, and ability to carry more than 18,000 pounds of payload when loaded externally, the F-35 can be thought of as a fifth-generation Strike Eagle, the advanced avionics of an F-22 combined with the range payload that nearly matches that of an F-15E. This allows the F-35 to shape a crisis throughout the conflict. Beginning with 35B onboard, the L-class ships mark a massive boost in striking power for the roughly 40,000-ton vessels, effectively turning them into light carriers. Indeed, until the United States Navy's F-35C version becomes operational, the F-35B will be the only stealth aircraft to be found onboard a naval flight deck. Pairing F-35B Lightning IIs with the Wasp represents one of the most significant leaps in warfighting capability for the Navy Marine Corps team in our lifetime, Rear Admiral Brad Cooper, Commander, Expeditionary Strike Group 7, said. This fifth-generation stealth jet is extremely versatile and will greatly enhance and expand our operational capabilities. Captain Colby Howard, Wasp's commanding officer, is understandably proud of his newly upgraded vessel and its embarked aircraft. Indeed, F-35B was tested at sea for the first time onboard Wasp when the jet was being developed. Deployment of the versatile F-35B enhances the full range of Expeditionary Strike Group capabilities with one of the world's most technologically advanced air warfare platforms, Howard said. With the specific upgrades Wasp has received, the Navy Marine Corps team in the Pacific is better positioned than ever before to support our commitment to the security of Japan and the region. The Wasp Expeditionary Strike Group will be part of a new type of unit that offers far greater firepower than the three-ship amphibious warfare groups that have become commonplace in the post-Cold War era. Instead, the new Upgun DSG will not only incorporate the F-35B but also the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers USS Dewey and USS Sterett, which will enable the ESG to be more effective against peer-level threats such as Chinese or Russian forces. The Upgun DSG is a U.S. Pacific Fleet-initiated concept that aims to provide lethality and survivability to a traditional three-ship amphibious ready group by
augmented by jet vane control technology for extreme maneuverability against a variety of high-performance threats. Mark Justice, Raytheon AIM-9X Program Director, told Scout Warrior in a written statement. The missile also has proven capability in air-to-surface and demonstrated capability in surface-to-air missions. The AIM-9X Block II is the current version of the AIM-9 Sidewinder short-range missile family in use by more than 40 nations throughout the world. Justice added, the AIM-9X missile has been acquired by 20 international partners. It is configured for easy installation on a wide variety of modern fighter aircraft, and we are excited to complete this milestone of the first AIM-9X live fire from the F-35 as we progress through the aircraft missile integration activities, he said. Weapons integration for the F-35 is designed to evolve in tandem with software advances for the aircraft, described as increments. Each increment, involving massive amounts of lines of computer code, improves the platform's ability to integrate, carry and fire a wider range of weapons. Block 2B, for example, is already operational and builds upon the enhanced simulated weapons, data link capabilities and early fused sensor integration of the earlier Block 2A software drop. Block 2B enables the JSF to provide basic close air support and fire an AMRAAM, Advanced Medium Range Air-to-Air Missile, JDAM, Joint Direct Attack Munition, or GBU-12, Laser-Guided Aerial Bomb, JSF program officials have said. The next increment, Block 3I, will increase the combat capability even further, and Block 3F will bring a vastly increased ability to suppress enemy air defenses. The Air Force planned to reach operational status with software Block 3I in 2016. Full operational capability will come with Block 3F, service officials said. Block 3F will increase the weapons delivery capacity of the JSF as well, giving it the ability to drop a small diameter bomb, 500-pound JDAM and AIM-9X short-range air-to-air missile, Air Force officials said. Last fall, the Pentagon's F-35 Joint Strike Fighter completed the first aerial test of its 25mm Gatling gun embedded into the left wing of the aircraft, officials said. This milestone was the first in a series of test flights to functionally evaluate the in-flight operation of the F-35 as internal 25mm gun throughout its employment envelope, a Pentagon statement said. The Gatling gun will bring a substantial technology to the multi-role fighter platform, as it will better enable the aircraft to perform air-to-air attacks and close air support missions to troops on the ground, a task of growing consequence given the current Air Force examinations of the future of the A-10. Called the Gun Airborne Unit, or GOR-22/A, the weapon is engineered into the aircraft in such a manner as to maintain the platform's stealth configuration. The 4-barrel 25mm gun is designed for rapid fire in order to quickly blanket an enemy with gunfire and destroy targets quickly. The weapon is able to fire 3,300 rounds per minute, according to a statement from General Dynamics. 3 bursts of 130 rounds and 2 60 rounds each were fired from the aircraft's 4-barrel, 25mm Gatling gun. In integrating the weapon into the stealthy F-35A airframe, the gun must be kept hidden behind closed doors to reduce its radar cross-section until the trigger is pulled, a statement from the Pentagon's Joint Strike Fighter said. The first phase of test execution consisted of 13 ground gunfire events over the course of 3 months to verify the integration of the gun into the F-35A, the JSF office said. Once verified, the team was cleared to begin this second phase of testing, with the goal of evaluating the gun's performance and integration with the airframe during airborne gunfire in various flight conditions and aircraft configurations, the statement added. The new gun will also be integrated with the F-35's software so as to enable the pilot to see and destroy targets using a helmet-mounted display. The gun is slated to be operational by 2017. The Air Force is engineering and testing a new airdropped weapon able to destroy moving targets in all kinds of weather conditions at ranges greater than 40 miles, Air Force and Raytheon officials said. The Small Diameter Bomb 2, or SDB-2, is designed to integrate onto the F-35 by 2022 or 2023. It is engineered to destroy moving targets in all kinds of weather, such as small groups of ISIS or terrorist fighters on the move in pickup trucks. A weapon of this kind would be of extreme relevance against ISIS fighters, as the group is known to deliberately hide among civilian populations and make movements under cloud cover or adverse weather in order to avoid detection from overhead surveillance technologies. While the Air Force currently uses a laser-guided bomb called the GBU-54 able to destroy moving targets, the new SDB-2 will be able to do this at longer ranges and in all kinds of weather conditions. In addition, the SDB-2 is built with a two-way, dual-band data link which enables it to change targets or adjust to different target locations while in flight. A key part of the SDB-2 is a technology called a tri-mode seeker, a guidance system which can direct the weapon using millimeter-wave radar, uncooled imaging, infrared guidance and semi-active laser technology. A tri-mode seeker provides a range of guidance and targeting options typically not used together in one system. Millimeter wave radar gives the weapon an ability to navigate through adverse weather conditions in which other guidance systems might encounter problems reaching or pinpointing targets. Imagining infrared guidance allows the weapon to track and hone in on heat signatures such as the temperature of an enemy vehicle. With semi-active laser technology, the weapon can be guided to an exact point using a laser designator or laser illuminator coming from the air or the ground. Also, the SPD-2 brings a new ability to track targets in flight through use of a two-way Link 16 and UHF data link, Raytheon officials said. The millimeter wave radar turns on first. Then the data link gives it a cue and tells the seeker where to open up and look. Then, the weapon can turn on its SEER, infrared, which uses heat-seeking technology, Raytheon officials said. The SPD-2 is engineered to weigh only 208 pounds, a lighter weight than most other airdrop bombs, so that 8 of them can fit on the inside of an F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, Raytheon officials explained. Known for an ability to keep flying after taking multiple rounds of enemy machine gun fire, land and operate in rugged terrain, destroy groups of enemy fighters with a 30mm cannon and unleash a wide arsenal of attack weapons. The A-10 is described by pilots as a flying tank in the sky, able to hover over ground war and provide life-saving close air support in high-threat combat environments. It is built to withstand more damage than any other frame that I know of.
F-25A Stingray is an unmanned refueling system to extend the range of its carrier aircraft. The Marines seem ready to press ahead with a similar concept in Lightning carriers. Basically, the Marines will already have enough F-35Bs to equip several of their smaller amphibious assault ships, sometimes known as helicopter carriers, while the Navy waits on their F-35Cs to sort out carrier launch issues for its larger, Nimitz-class carriers. While the amphibious assault ship will never replace the aircraft carrier, it can be complementary, if employed in imaginative ways, reads the plan. The Marines refer to one such creative use of the smaller carriers as a Lightning carrier, or an amphibious assault ship with 20 F-35Bs and an embarked, organic aerial refueling capability to extend their range. The Marines plan to further reduce reliance on land and sea bases with mobile forward arming and refueling points that employ decoys and deception to confuse the enemy and keep U.S. aircraft spread out and unpredictable. The F-35B with its stealth, unparalleled intelligence gathering, surveillance, and F-16s by the end of this month, several sources have told Reuters, and industry experts expect it to pick Lockheed Martin's F-35 over the Eurofighter Typhoon. The multi-billion-dollar decision, widely watched in the aerospace industry, had been expected in July before the NATO summit in Brussels. It was postponed due to Belgian local elections last Sunday and concern about a report suggesting the life of the existing F-16 fleet could have been extended. Washington extended the terms of the F-35 bid for 34 fighter jets by 2 weeks through October 31 at Brussels' request, U.S. sources said, adding that any further delay would trigger changes in pricing. The Belgian competition is the F-35s to lose, said Harry Breach, London-based analyst for Raymond James, noting that Belgium already flew the F-16 fighter, also built by Lockheed. He said the Eurofighter Typhoon would be a more expensive option, adding, for affordability reasons, smaller countries tend to pick a jet with lower size, payload and range. All that points to the
For the Australian end of the US-led multinational JSF program says the aircraft will revolutionize the way the nation fights wars far into the future. The head of the RAF's JSF Capability and Sustainment Group, Air Vice Marshal Lee Horden, says 4 factors give the F-35 its 5th-generation edge: stealth, sensors, fusion and data sharing. 2 factors stand out. One is the phenomenally powerful cutting-edge radar. The other is the Distributor Aperture System, or DAS, cameras which give the pilot a 360-degree infrared view of the world. The third element is the way all of that information is fused together to give the pilot unparalleled situational awareness. A fourth element is the JSF's ability to quickly share the vast amount of information it gathers with air, land and naval forces. It will allow us to operate in the high-threat environments we will need to operate in if we end up in a conflict. Air Vice Marshal Gordon is confident that the first of the 72 JSFs on order for the RAF will be based in Australia by December 2018, and the first operational squadron and a training squadron will reach IOC by December 2020.
Air superiority is a fundamental pillar of air power, but more so, it is an essential prerequisite for the Australian way of modern joint warfare. Without it, our nation's ground and naval forces would be required to fight in very radically different ways. But gaining and maintaining air superiority is not easy. It requires trained, very proficient and ready aircrew. It also requires large numbers of very capable and technically superior aircraft.
3 squadrons will be fully combat ready in 2023. Group Captain Glenn Beck has been a fighter pilot all his adult life and is now director of the RAF's Air Combat Transition Office. He served in Iraq in 2003 as a flight commander, and he's trained many of the RAF's top pilots. The aim, he says, isn't just to see aircraft delivered and hangars built for them, but to get to a mature and self-sustaining system with fully trained pilots ready for operations. With F-35 we are on a massive learning curve. He says RAF specialists deeply embedded in the program in the US are well placed to identify any problems with the JSF. 2 RAF pilots are in the US instructing international pilots to fly the JSF, and 3 others are training them to become instructors. When you compare JSF to other options, when you look out past the 2030s, looking at the global strategic situation and where technology is going, it is the standout choice as the best solution to Australia's air power needs. The guys love how it flies. It's very easy to operate. The JSF is designed for what the pilots call BVR, beyond visual range, combat, but the Australian pilots say it can dogfight as well. Group Captain Beck says it's all about what the fighter pilots call the kill chain. Do I have more options than the bad